Hey, Ange.
Hey Les, how's it going?
That's a nice lipstick.
Thank you. It's like a combo of two different ones. So I can't
Oh,
tell you the name because it is custom.
you can put the name together.
I would have to know the names to put them
Oh,
together.
like Ruby Fooge, Woo and Rouge.
Yeah, I don't know. I will look. How about if I put in the episode notes? That's where we put everything that we
The
can't
lipstick
think
color.
about. Or yeah, we'll
I'm
put the
not wearing
lipstick color.
lipstick.
The two that I
This is my
combined
cash look today.
is your cash.
Got
Okay,
my
all right.
Wonder Woman t-shirt on,
Wonder Woman. One of these days we'll wear them at the same time since you gifted me one.
but accidentally.
Oh, was it accidental? Don't tell me that. I don't
No,
want
no,
to
no,
know
no.
that.
I didn't give it to you accidentally. I said we'll accidentally wear it at the same
Oh, I
time.
see what you mean. I
Unplanned
thought you
in a way.
gifted it to me accident. I'm like, don't mess with my memory. Do
Oops, I
not.
meant to give it
Do
to
not.
somebody
Oops, I
else
meant to
and
give it
did
to
yeah.
yeah. Okay. So,
So welcome to another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn. So good to be here.
It is.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
I'm gonna say it like this. I'm grateful to be here.
Okay. Good. Very good. As am I.
This is what I was thinking. I think that in this episode we should talk about things we're grateful for.
Sure.
I don't know how many of you all did this 10 days ago, maybe when your families were gathering around Thanksgiving or whatever, and people go around the table and say, what are you grateful for this year? Or what are you thankful for this year? And, I don't know if families do that. We've never done that. Actually, we may have done it once or twice,
Mhm.
but there's a lot to be grateful for. And
There is.
in many cases, people are grateful for not fighting at the table about politics and about different world events and different stuff.
That would be worth being grateful for.
You
Yeah.
know,
And what
my my mom got into a conversation on Thanksgiving with someone, and Monique and I looked at each other and we just kind of like walked away.
back away. Slowly I turn.
But it was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah.
It was nice to be with my family. So I'm grateful for that. That's for
Good.
sure.
I'm grateful too. I'm just going to be very mindful of the holiday and its traditional, the where it came from. And so I am
Mhm.
going to just keep that in mind because it does create trauma for people, understandably so, because of what happened to indigenous people in the United States at that time and what was going
Yeah.
on
Hmm.
while Turkey was being prepared.
Yeah.
But I did get together with a pretty large group of friends at a friend's home because my children, my sister, my brother, um, we did not all get together because my niece Noelle is getting married next week, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so we're all getting together in Dallas or outside of
Hmm.
Dallas to for her wedding, and so we thought let's not go crazy trying to get together
Yeah. Oh, in a
for
week.
the
Right.
holiday. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So Isaiah and I
You'll have your
went to
celebration.
pardon.
That'll be a nice celebration.
Yeah, it will be. So yeah, we had a wonderful time with some friends here. Good food, and no one could believe Isaiah got so tall. And one person came to me after and said, I thought he was a senior in high school, not college."
Wow.
Because
Yeah.
they've all seen him throughout the year. Some of them we hadn't seen for a while. So
Yeah.
Isaiah shot
That's
up.
nice.
So yeah, so that was really
With that
nice.
deep voice of his.
And he wasn't the youngest one there, so he was trying to drop some knowledge on a young man who was there, and that his mom asked him to speak with him, and so
Oh,
that was yeah. It's so hard to really consider him being a big old grown up, but yeah, we had a good
wow.
time.
I did something that was interesting.
What? Oh Lord.
So I was down in Florida. I was
Hmm.
staying at my house
Right.
while I was visiting Monique as well, and
Hmm.
I took a walk around my neighborhood, which I don't do very often. I was by myself. This
Right.
was Thanksgiving morning.
Right.
Got my steps in and stuff. So I saw a neighbor.
Yeah.
He was in front of his house, and I'm like,
Which side?
um,
Like,
in the street before me.
okay, got it. Hmm.
And I'm like, hello, neighbor. I'm your neighbor. I live right over there in the corner.
Yes.
And he's like, oh, that house or whatever. So we got to chatting. I looked at what he's doing. I'm like, what are you about to do? Fry a turkey? He's like, yeah, I'm about to light it up. I'm like, I love fried
Leslie, you
turkey.
did not invite.
How about? And I wrangled up an invitation and a plate of food from my neighbor that I just met. I said, let's exchange numbers. He
Oh my
literally
gosh,
called me
Leslie.
back
It wasn't because you
and
didn't
had
have
a
any
plate
food. Like,
ready of turkey and Linda's corn pudding. I
no, you
was,
did not.
I
What?
I felt joyful.
What possessed you to do that, though?
And when he texted me and called me back, I hurried up and went to the fridge and prepared a plate of greens for
Oh,
him so we could exchange food. I wasn't just like the neighborhood mooch,
right.
you know. But so we did have a nice like a
Oh my
15-minute
God.
chat, and I did go back hours later for my food. So
Wow. Very
then I
nice.
went someplace else and got another plate of food.
Isn't that's what we do
I've
in
been going
Jamaica
around. I
for
went around the
Christmas?
neighborhood making food for people.
That's what we do in Jamaica for Christmas, but we don't take food per se. We exchange like cakes, desserts, black cake or
By the
whatever.
time I got to Monique's, I was kind of full.
Wait, this was before you went to... Oh my gosh.
Because, we always do our dinner late. So
Right,
I had
right,
a
right.
long time to make my rounds.
Wow. Funny,
Anyway,
funny. Very you. Very, 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 very you. Mm-hmm.
I speaking of gratitude, grateful, I had I call it almost a testimony
Okay.
to say. And I don't know. How does this relate to being grateful or thankful?
Well,
But anyway, let me
just
tell you
say
this
it. You
interesting
told me a
story.
little bit about it, but you were kind of rushing
All
to
right, right. Okay, so let me tell you the story.
so yeah. But I want all the juicy bits. I don't want,
I
don't
don't know if
summarize.
everybody wants the juicy bits,
Right,
but
right, right,
anyway,
right,
but it's a
right. Go.
good story.
Okay, go.
About 3 or so days ago, I was pulling into the parking lot at Kohl's,
Mm-hmm.
and I drive an SUV.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was turning into this parking space,
Right.
I heard,
Oh
and I'm like, I just hit this car. And it wasn't
wow.
just any car, it was this beautiful, new looking red Lexus.
Oh wow.
And I got
Ouch.
out and looked and I scraped the bumper,
Oh
the
boy.
rear bumper. And I'm like,
Their
oh,
rear bumper or
their rear
yours?
bumper.
Okay,
No,
got it.
theirs.
Okay.
Turns out I hit it with my front, the front
As you were
right
coming. Got it.
passenger. So
Got it.
anyway, and I'm like, oh man. So I hurried up, got a piece of paper, and I
Mm-hmm.
wrote on the
Mm-hmm.
paper, I'm really sorry, but I gotta leave.
Right.
No, I'm kidding. I didn't say that.
I know I did it,
So
but
sorry,
psych.
but sucks to be you. No, that's not what
Oh
happened.
God. Okay,
So
what
I wrote a
happened?
note and I said,
Because you're a child of God, you're not gonna make God
my
look
name
like
is
that now.
Leslie. I'm so sorry that I scraped your rear bumper. Give me a call back and I'll take care of whatever it costs to repair it, you know.
Okay.
And then I left my number, and like 8 minutes later, the gentleman calls back.
Okay.
Um, I can say his name because who knows
Just
who
this,
Ray
yeah,
is.
yeah.
So Ray calls me back and he says, yeah, you hit my car, and wow, I can't believe that you actually left a note. I thank you for that. And I'm
Mm,
like, who wouldn't leave a note?
mm.
And he's like, man, most people wouldn't do that. And I'm thinking, like, how is it possible that most people wouldn't do that?
You see,
You
Les,
know,
this is where I don't
but
understand.
but what do you think that most people would just hit a car and leave? Actually, that's a stupid question.
People, wait, people hit
There's even a
Leslie.
term called hit and run.
Exactly. People hit people and
People
leave,
hit people and
much
leave.
less
That,
cars. What are
I
you
guess that's
kidding
true.
me? Some people probably think, oh, they can afford it because oh, what?
Because it's a nice car.
Yeah, it's like it's
But
nothing.
aren't
Oh,
there cameras everywhere? Like, could you
but
imagine if somebody like, I saw you, and
but
and
that's
and
what you care
like,
about. That's not what most people, I won't even say most because I don't know. I'm going to say many, and I'm going to be very
but
comfortable
he
saying
was
many.
shocked, and I'm thinking
Yeah,
like, what? I just
yeah,
don't get it. It's not
yeah.
something that I can relate to. I would never be able to be comfortable. I would
Right.
like be scared driving, thinking somebody's going to run into me if I
Right,
did
right.
something like
Like
that.
like when you park before going to the ball game. Yeah.
Right, right.
Yeah. When
So
you parked
anyway,
illegally. Yeah, but let's hold right there before you move
okay.
on. Let me just say,
All right. Would
right?
you leave a note? No, that's a stupid question. I know the answer to that. Hell no, you wouldn't leave a note.
No, I would have waited there for him. Ha. Um, so you really think that most people would do what you did? Do you really think that that is, I'm not saying what you would like the world to be.
Yeah, yeah, I
I'm
understand your
saying
question.
really
I'm gonna
because what
really
he's
think about the answer to that.
because what he said to you is probably from his experience.
But that's where you're wrong.
Okay.
That's where you're wrong.
Okay.
I know I'm not gonna out anybody, but I
Right.
can name three people right now
Yeah.
that have what I call a dim view of the world
Mm-hmm.
or people or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had nothing but good fortune in their lives.
Mm.
They
Right.
anticipate this danger or this rotten world or the world
Right.
is so cold and ugly, but
Right.
they've had nothing but good things happen to them,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they've not been assaulted or beat up in by the world in that
Right.
way that they're
Right.
afraid of or anticipating.
Right.
It's
Right.
so bad, it's so bad, and it's like,
Yes.
but so
Yeah.
bad things haven't happened to
Where's the
you.
evidence? Right.
We
Right. Right.
have
Right.
trials and tribulations, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
I know that I know those of whom you speak, and so I will leave that there. Okay, move on now. You may go.
so so when he kept saying, I can't believe it, I can't believe it, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take care of it. Let me know. He says, well, I'm going to go and I'll get some quotes and I'll
Mm-hmm.
let you know. And I'm like, okay, fine. So on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
he gave me a call and he says, now I'm Miss Leslie.
You get a title
I
because
guess
you're so
I guess
sweet.
if I wasn't so nice, I'd be that itch
Right.
Leslie. You
You
better
would
you better pay for my
you
car.
would have been like,
Anyway,
hey, yeah, what's up? Mm-hmm.
I'd
Okay.
ghost him. Block.
Okay, Miss
Anyway, I can't
Leslie.
even
Yeah.
imagine that scenario. So he went and got three quotes.
Right.
He said the first one was 1,400, the
Okay.
second one was 1,200, and he's currently at one of the garages that was the best price he got was
Mm-hmm.
$800.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was coincidentally, it was right around the corner where I used to live. And I
Wow.
would walk by that shop every single day.
That's crazy. Okay.
But anyway,
Okay.
so he says, I'm here at this shop and it's $800. And I said to him, and it was heartfelt and real. I said, you have a beautiful car. It seems
Mm-hmm.
like it's new. He
Mm-hmm.
says, I was telling my friend I don't like to drive the car too much because something like this could happen. And I'm like, I
Mm.
felt bad. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want you to start thinking you shouldn't drive your good stuff,
Right.
you
Right.
know.
Right. Right.
I said, you only live once. Here I am giving the lecture now. I really did. I
This
said,
is what you do.
you never know how long you're going to be here.
Right,
If you
right,
have nice things,
right.
I said, my
Seriously.
grandmother used to cover the couches with plastic and reserve the dishes for the good dishes for company. I'm like,
Yeah.
who's better than her grandchildren? But
Right,
the
right,
good company can eat
right.
on the dishes. I said,
Yeah,
use your stuff. But
yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so $800.
You're
I
so
said,
old and wise, Les.
so I said, I'm just old, right?
You're such a sage.
So I spoke to the shop owner, gave him my number, and I said,
Hmm.
I'll come in the morning and pay the money.
Okay.
And then that was all right. Thank you, Miss Leslie, whatever. And then I would say 20 minutes after I hung up. Now listen to this.
Okay.
20
I'm
minutes
listening.
after I hung up
Yeah.
from the shop owner,
Hmm.
my partner, my colleague at work called me. I was off the following day. He's
Right.
like, Les, are you able to work a couple of hours for me? I can pay you $700.
Hmm. Yeah.
Ain't that
That's
20 minutes after I got
that
off the call,
is
as he
yeah.
said, I can pay you $700. I'm like,
Right.
okay.
Right.
So before I went in to work for him, I went to the shop. The car looked beautiful. Oh, I admit I left out a part. I
I was
left out a
gonna,
part.
yeah, what happened to your
Oh,
car?
yeah. So I took my car to a place that typically fixes these high-end cars or whatever.
Hmm.
And the guy wrote up a quote or whatever and gave me the quote. And you want to know how much he was going to charge
I
me to
can't
fix
even
my
imagine.
car?
I can't even imagine.
$3,900.
I, 4 grand?
39 with two zeros
Wait a
for a
minute.
scrape on the front bumper.
Hold. So
No lights.
the car that you hit was 800 and your
And
car.
mine was 3,900. So I said I knew that wasn't gonna. I was gonna like take some Vaseline and start rubbing it off or whatever because it wasn't dented at all. It just looked
Right.
like the paint was scraped. It
Got
seemed
it. Got it.
right.
Got it. Got it. Right, right, right.
So I'm like
Or it could have been bumper
39.
residue.
Yeah, it
Right.
was red.
No, I mean,
My blue car did have some red on it. I'm laughing now because it has a happy ending and nobody got hurt. No animals were killed in the making of this
oh my
story.
gosh. Wow. Okay.
So
That's ridiculous.
So 30, I knew that wasn't going to happen. So
Right.
after I paid for the guy, I said, hey, Ben, did you take a look at my bumper? And he's like, well, if I have to paint it, I
Hmm.
can blend in the paint for you and it'll cost about $700.
Right,
I'm like,
right.
that's better than 3,900,
Mm,
I said to
mm, mm,
myself.
mm. Right.
But then he says, but I might be able to just buff it and whatever. That'll be $70. And I'm like, okay. He said, pull it all in. I'm on my way to work now. He
Right,
says, pull
right,
it in.
right.
10 minutes later, he's like, no problem at all. And the car looked brand new, like
That
nothing ever happened. He's
is
like, that'll be $70.
wow. Wow.
I'm like, this is my lucky day. I need to hit cars more
The
often.
level of rip-off bossity. What?
I
I
mean, the quote that they had like a new bumper and then
right,
labor, paint labor. Then
right.
there was body labor, and then there was this and clips. And
Mm, mm, mm,
I'm
mm.
like, the
Wow.
car is 7 years old.
Wow. Jeez.
So
$70.
$70.
Mm, mm, mm.
I'm good as new. So wait, the story's almost over.
Okay. You don't have to
So
hurry.
so
I got time.
while I'm at the shop, I said, well, the guy did tell me that he took a day off from work
Mm-hmm.
and had to run around. I'm like, you know what? I Zelled him $100,
Oh,
right?
Ray?
Yeah.
Oh,
Because I
wow.
said he took off work to run
Right.
around
Oh,
for
I
the
thought you were
car.
talking
So
about
I didn't want the guy.
I thought you were talking about
I
your
didn't
colleague.
I didn't want um I didn't want the guy to be out, I
Yeah.
felt bad. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
inconvenient running around, taking off work to
Sure.
get tried, whatever. So I
Yeah.
Zelled him $100.
Yeah.
And when I did that, he called me right away. And
Mm-hmm.
what I think happened is I don't think he knew that I was at the shop. Maybe he thought like I was going to stiff him and just say, take $100, peace out.
Ah, right.
I don't know
Right.
why he called, but
Right.
I said, when he called, I said, listen, I'm at the shop. Your car
Right.
looks amazing. It's
Wow.
finished. And he's like,
Wow.
you're there? And I said, yeah. So I sent you $100 so that you could, I know you told me that you had to take a day off. And he was like,
Mm-hmm.
I cannot believe it.
You blew his
And I'm
mind.
like, he just kept saying, I can't believe it. I'm so glad I met you. Like, you are incredible. Even the shop owner, he's like, nobody would do what you did. Nobody. I said, listen,
See,
come
there you
on.
go again.
I said, I've lived a long time. People absolutely would do this. I said, I get treatment like this. He's like, okay, well, 90% of the people wouldn't do
Mm-hmm.
this. I said, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'll be the 10%.
Right. Right.
But
I won't tell you where my mind is going right now, but maybe after. Because when you did that, I've lived all this life and that's never happened to me. I want to tell you what came to mind, but keep going because this is such a sweet story.
so I sent Zelled him the $100. So now we're on the phone talking, and
Right.
I'm like, look, I said, I just want to let you know that the Lord covers me.
Yeah.
And when I do things that I think are right in his
Mm-hmm.
mind,
Mm-hmm.
in his sight,
Mm-hmm.
that I get it back tenfold.
Yeah.
And I said, Ray, let me tell you a story.
Mm-hmm.
I said, after you told me how much it was going to cost to
Right.
cover this car, to pay for this car,
Right.
I got a phone call from my
Mm-hmm.
colleague. I
Mm-hmm.
was not supposed to be at work today, but he asked me if I could work for him and he would give me $700.
Right.
He said, really?
Right.
I said, I think that it's related, the fact
Yeah.
that I'm here paying for the car,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah.
He's like,
Yeah.
may I ask, what kind of work do you do?
You cover somebody and get
I said,
$700.
I
Okay.
said, he
Yeah.
asked me to cover him for 3 hours and
Mm,
he's like, what kind of work do you do? So I said,
mm-hmm.
I'm a physician, but
Right. Right.
I just want to let you know that I think that these two things were linked
Yeah.
out one hand and in another.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
last part of the story is, and this is really the part that kind of blows your mind. So I'm working for my partner, and he gives me a call and says, Les, I'm running a little late. I'm going to give you $800.
That's when God say,
I'm
in
like,
case you weren't
okay.
sure. Wow.
Do you believe
Wow.
that?
Wow. Yeah, I
The
believe
only
it.
thing more sure would be if he
Hmm.
gave me $870.
But these
So
two were
maybe not.
unrelated. So
Maybe,
it was
I don't
unrelated.
know.
That was on you. That's your responsibility. But he took care of the other guy.
But isn't that
Wow.
something,
That's
Ange?
lovely. I love those. We've had several of
I
these
know we
types of
have a
things
lifetime,
where the numbers just align like that over the years. Yeah.
but that's why I say that these things do happen for
Yeah.
us,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. They do. They do. They do. Okay, I'm
I
not
mean,
going to
just
taint
think,
it
if I
now.
didn't stop and leave my number, I'd still be like tossing and turning and,
Hmm.
oh, I haven't slept in
Yeah.
a couple of days, and
You-
you ain't gonna believe what
Your
I
eyes would
did.
be like this.
Now, now the guy is gone. I couldn't reach him in a tone. It would be terrible,
Couldn't have told.
I'd start drinking.
Oh my gosh, I can't.
I had to do it. I had to do it.
Oh my gosh. Oh, yes,
And
I'm happy.
like I've said a few times, and God said, my good and faithful servant.
Good and faithful servant. Yes, 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 yes. I love that story. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, Ray, man, he just couldn't believe it. He's like, who are you?
Yeah, yeah. And I think, I'd like to believe that they're gonna pay it forward. They're going
And I
to,
asked him to do that.
yeah,
I said that to him. I said,
yeah,
I look at myself as
sure.
an elder of yours, and
Yeah,
when I see things like that, this
yeah.
is how we pay it forward with
Right,
good
right,
experiences and people doing right by them,
right,
you know.
right. Exactly, exactly. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. I love that.
Hmm.
I
But
love
the
it.
other thing that I think is that I always think things happen for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows who or why this happened, but maybe it was something for Ray
Yeah,
to know.
yeah,
Maybe it was something for Glenn, the shop
yeah,
owner, to know that
for
there were
sure.
people, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Absolutely. It's like
I don't know.
sometimes we think that we experience life being in the center of God's plan, right?
Yeah.
And we're not. We're
And
a part
sometimes
of
we're
it.
over there.
We're a part of it. And so we're out here. He's using us to bless other people. He's using us to teach other people. He's using us, as bit players.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to be the central figure to be a vessel. And
Mm.
so,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I believe that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's lovely. How do you feel?
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel?
Broke.
Wow. Okay. Okay. All right. Here you come. Here comes the real Leslie. Here she comes. Here she comes. She used
I
up
could
all of
have
her
had
goodness.
$800 in my pocket.
she, she used up all of her goody
I
good.
needed that. Lesson
I needed
schmessen.
I needed that even though I didn't even know I was going to get it. But
But
you
I
know what I
needed
could have
that.
used that for? Yeah, you came out
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
You came out okay.
I think so. It's a
That's
good
great.
story.
I love that story. I love that story. I was going to tell you something that happened to me, but sorry. But
Your nails look good.
thank you. It was from before. I have to, a couple of them got a little chippy chip, but it's okay.
Mm.
Thank you. Thank you. Um, I had just a, you know, not in any, but this is my thing, right? Sometimes
Okay.
we're like anticipating these huge, big, what I like to call partner of the Red Sea type miracles.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they're just so subtle and so like right there and you don't even notice it, or I try to notice it because it's not the big things all the time. And if you're only waiting for those, you're going to miss all the things that happen throughout your day that are
Mm-hmm.
just these little mini miracles. I wouldn't even call them mini, they're miracles outright, you know. Um,
Okay, what do you mean?
so, well, I was doing my writing this morning, and
As you do
I
every day.
I was thinking about, I'm an entrepreneur, and so I was thinking about what some money generating activities could be. That's a
Mm-hmm.
part of my practice, not a daily practice, but I'm going to say every week, week and a half, I
Is
just,
that what you
as
call
a
money
part,
church?
no,
That's
that's
not
when you
money
look at your
church.
money. No, this is
Oh.
this is where you just write down what are ways that you can generate money. There's so many skills that we've developed over all of these years, and I think
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize that these skills are valuable. So anyway, I was going
I
through that
remember you had me
exercise.
do that, and it was so hard for me.
Yeah,
You gotta write 20 things,
yeah, I
ways to make
know.
money around the podcast or whatever.
Right, right.
And it was like, oh, what are you talking about? I got to
Yeah.
three, and I'm like, I'm done.
But
But I got the 20. You pushed and
You
pushed and
did. You
pushed.
got to 20. You see,
Hmm.
that's the point right there. It's like it's just like anything else. You think I'm done. Oh, I've lifted enough weights. I'm done. I can't. I've run too far. Oh, I can't. And then if something is pushing you to keep going,
If
you're
there
like,
was a
how the
lion
hell?
chasing me, I could run more. I could run a marathon, I
You
think,
don't need
if a
you don't
lion
need
was
a line.
chasing me.
That line that line would be all over you. You would not. You would
He
you,
would get me, he would get me at mile marker point five.
that line would have been picking you out of its teeth. Oh my gosh. No, 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 no. I'm just
You don't
saying
think so?
we just diminish our capacity a lot. We do that a lot, right?
Hmm.
As soon as
Hmm.
it gets a little hard, can't do it, can't do it. Oh, I'm not supposed
Yeah.
to eat that to help with my blood pressure. Oh, I can't, I just can't. I'm
Yeah.
not supposed to smoke.
Yeah.
I can't. All the things. Um,
Hmm. That's
but
true.
anyway, I am a part of this group, that entrepreneurial group, that we get together and we just get on a call where we um, just commit to an hour of getting one thing done in that hour, just one thing done. And then we stay on the
I
call.
remember you told me about that. It's
Yeah,
a, you do a Zoom
yeah,
call of something,
yeah.
and
We
you
do a
guys
Zoom
just
call.
sit. This
Mm-hmm.
is, you know what?
Yeah, yeah.
Who are you?
It's not new. I've done this
I
before,
know. You
but
told me
this,
about that.
yeah, but it's a way. It's about accountability. It's about showing up for yourself. It's about accountability. And so you get on the Zoom call. Most people put on their camera, but we're not looking at the camera.
Because
And
you're
you,
working.
because you're
You're
working,
doing
and you
your
put
thing.
in the chat when you start, you put in the chat what your intentions are for the hour, what you intend to do. And then at the
Whoa.
end, 5 minutes before the end, 3 minutes before the end, the moderator will come back on and
They
say,
would
and the
kick me out the group. I would just keep
you would be
interrupting. They would
surprised.
kick me
You
out.
would
They would
you
say,
would be
that
surprised.
Leslie, get the heck out of here. She's distracting us. She's making jokes. She ain't working. I see her eating. She's looking at TV. Get her out. She
Yeah,
ain't serious.
no,
But
no. See,
anyway,
but we're all grown-ups, right? You used to do independent study. No? Did your professor have to be on? Well, maybe not. Okay, I'll take that back. I'll take that
wasn't that
back.
good at it.
I'll take that back. That's why you did well in med school, but not independent study. Um, but anyway, but it does cost. And before people say, "Oh, what? It's just paying to sit there." The thing is that money is a motivator. And
Mm-hmm.
if you spend a certain amount of money for something, you're going to show up. If things are free, sometimes you don't show up because it's like, it's no big deal. It's free,
You're right
no
about that.
loss.
You're right
But
about that.
since we're talking about commitment and we're talking about accountability, anyway, so I'm
Mm-hmm.
there, and my intention for the call was to develop my email. I sent out emails to my email group um, 2 or 3
Mm-hmm.
times a week. So I'm developing my next set of emails. So I'm writing, and by the time I got to the end, I realized that I had done two things in one. I had realized
What do you
in
mean?
what I was writing in the email, I wrote about something, a practice that I have developed, and I realized that this is something that I could teach, this practice. And I realized that I could
Really?
charge for teaching this practice. And so that was kind of exciting for me because I went into it kind of in this lack, oh, I gotta do this email, I have to.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I came out of it with an email, which was one thing, and a money generating idea that I put into the email. And
Wow.
yeah, and so I was like, Lord, you are so good. You are so good, so good. We have to always believe that there's enough for us, and and that just kind of not thinking about what you are lacking, but what you get to do, what you get to have, who you get to be.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? That
How you get to
just,
show up and
yeah.
the example that you can set.
Right, right. These
Yeah,
things
yeah.
are, I know money is important. This is not about not wanting money, but money is not the only important thing. And money's purpose is to have joy in your life, to do things that are rewarding, to all these things. So money even isn't the end. Money is a means to something else. So what
Mm-hmm.
if you can get those something else's while you're making money, or get those something else's and not make money because you're actually at at your goal anyway. Do you know what I mean?
I get it.
Um,
I really do. Yeah,
so
yeah.
anyway, I got really excited about that. But then when you called me to tell me about the car that I had to interrupt you, I had completely forgotten it because it was
But
like,
that's
oh, okay,
good.
let me listen to what you have to say. Yeah.
Oh, thanks
Oh,
for
this is
hanging
fun.
with us. This has been another episode of Black Boomer Besties from Brooklyn.
Brooklyn.